Hey everybody, back for another one. I know this was going to be about Deadman, but I just found this when I was looking for some of my Deadmans. I thought I would show it because I've been showing a lot of record books, and here's a Star Trek record book. I am going to bring these over actually to my friend's house today and have him rip all these things for me. Let's see what this... Oh my god, the bag I've got this in is totally not the right size. I'm going to change this. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, it's so gross. Throwing it out. Let's see how the record is. Not bad. Definitely playable. I don't see any scratches on that side. And I think this side's pretty good too. Excellent. Now, if there are any youngsters out there, this is a record. Of course, records are getting big again, so I shouldn't say it like people don't know. Now, this is PR 25. Okay, this only goes to PR 21 on the back that lists which ones there are. I'm going to have to look up and see how many of these there are out there and try to pick more of these up because these are fun. I used to love listening to these. That is really strange, though. What is going on with this? I've actually never, I don't know if I've ever looked at this or if I've looked at this in a long time, but this is really weird. In the corner here, that's Uhura. They're calling her Uhura. And if you know anything about Star Trek, Uhura is African American, so that is really, really strange. Blonde white person. That is really weird. Okay, I'd like to do some research in that because that is weird. Can't see if I'm. Look at that! Wow, 1975. I am very surprised. Okay, well, I'm going to do a little looking into that. Deadman. One of my favorite characters. I love all like the, who was it? Like Constantine and all those guys and Swamp Thing. But, we should do a Swamp Thing show. But Deadman is another cool one. I know, no X-Men mug. But this is actually a really cool sort. It's got metallic inks on it. Don't put it in the microwave. I learned that the hard way from NASA. Whenever I go on a trip, I usually will pick up a coffee mug because I like coffee and I like coffee mugs, so I get a coffee mug. So let's look at some Deadman. So where should we start? Let's start with his first appearance. So this is Strange Adventures 205. It's hard to figure out where. There we go. And I always love this cover. It shows him looking very kind of just dead looking in his suit. Boston brand. This man who was just murdered is our hero. His story begins 1 minute later, which is a really interesting and neat idea for a hero. And if you see over in the corner here, here's the guy that shot him with the claw. It's almost like the Fugitive, right? What did he have? One-armed man? The one-armed man in The Fugitive? So, first appearance, really, really fun story and amazing, amazing art. I'd like to get more of these, but they can be kind of pricey. So, let's see. What else do we have? Then one of the next runs out from... I actually have all these in one bag. I'm going to take these out. I got a lot of rebagging to do. I'm pulling comics. Oh, that's why I always take the tape off. I almost got the cover stuck. Okay, that's what that bag looked like. So I'm not quite sure what I was thinking. Throw that away. One of the next runs. It might have been the next run. I'd have to look. I cannot remember. Was this because this is from '85? I'll have to look and see if this was actually the next series they came out with. But this is by the artist is Jose Luis Gazzara Lopez, who is just amazing. And the writer, I'm not really familiar, Andrew Heffler, with a lot of his work. I don't know if he went on to do more or whatnot, but this is just one of my favorite sort of retellings of a character, and I love the covers. They are so cool. And this was I can't remember, was it 4? This was a 4-part miniseries, yeah. So you had these really sort of neat covers. And the art inside is so incredible. Trying to find a really, really sort of iconic looking page. Well, that's just a neat page. I don't know if it's iconic, but it's pretty cool. So more of that fantastic art. This, I love this cover. They sort of catch him in some kind of astral magical bubble thing. I just love the white skin and the red suit. You know, that's a pretty big collar, but I think it works. And then probably my least favorite cover of the series, but still pretty neat. So Deadman, if you're not familiar with Deadman, he is dead. He is a ghost, and he can inhabit people's bodies. He used to be an acrobat, as we saw in that first one, and usually he's invisible to most non-magic people. Let's see, what else do we have here? I have not even read those. I'm going to need to. Oh, these were an amazing series that came out. All right, I need to... There's so many different... I've got to figure out all the... I have these out of order in a big way. But let's take a look at this Deadman series. This is some cool stuff. Mike Barron wrote this. Kelly Jones did the art. And everybody knows Kelly. You might not know the name, but if you see his work, you can definitely, you're like, oh yeah, that's who we're talking about. It's this really sort of, we find a page that just, well, probably one of the first pages. So you've seen that work before. But this was, these were some of the first prestige books that came out back in the day. And when did this come out? I want to say mid-80s. 89, late 80s. I'm always so close. And I think it was just a 2-issue miniseries, if I remember correctly. And then there's the other cover. Awesome stuff. Now, there's been several other titles. I have a mishmash here. I need to go through my Deadman, because there's all sorts of different ones here I've got, and they're totally not the same. I've just noticed. So there's this run that happened. I don't have number 1 of it, unfortunately. I might, though. That might be it right there. This one came out in 2002. So there's, I think that's number 2. Now, this one might be number 1 of that series, but I had it out of order. So let's see if this is 2002 and the same creative team. 2002, it is. So this is Steve Vance, and I cannot pronounce the artist's last name or first name. I'm terrible at that. So this was actually number 1 in that series. Good, I do. So this came out in 2002. And this was a pretty fun series. I remember reading through these. Not too bad. They changed the character around a little bit, but I still liked it. I still thought it was pretty cool. And again, they're keeping the collar, which is cool. Now, I didn't pull these out. I should have. Of course, one of the latest things you see Deadman in is the Justice League Dark, which is a fantastic series. It's got all my favorites in it. And of course, Deadman and Hellblazer together, John Constantine, fantastic. Then there was Dead Again. And I only have 2 of those. And I do not remember if I read this, I'll be perfectly honest. This is first. This was 2001. So this came before that. You like how I did that, my due diligence before this show? For this episode? So this came out first, Dead Again, and then Deadman. So I need to get the rest of these. Gotta start digging through some 50-cent bins or whatnot. And then there was a Deadman New 52. I have a number 2. I thought that cover was kind of neat. I thought I had a number 1, but I think I read it and was like, oh, this is horrible. And I gave it to somebody or something. So I should probably dig that out or find it, because I like to be a completist about it. But I remember reading it. It was not good. Hopefully they'll do something more with him, because he's one of my favorite characters. I don't have any sort of Deadman stuff. There's not a lot done with that character, so I don't have any art to show or anything like that. I was going to get a piece of original art, or a sketch from Riley Rizismo? Bad. He just did that last run in John Constantine and Hellblazer to do a Deadman for me, but I wanted him to do a Constantine first, because that is, he's probably my favorite character. We'll do a show where we do a bunch of Hellblazer stuff. Let's go to the bookshelf. Let's see, do I have anything here that is got any kind of Deadman in it? I don't think so. Let's look at something totally different. I almost picked that. This is not totally different, but we will look at that, I'm sure, at some point. Off the shelf, man, that's dusty for some reason. So, if you're not familiar with Ed Brubaker, or you might be familiar with him with his run, his amazing run on Captain America. He's the guy who brought Bucky back. Oh, spoiler, in case you didn't know that. But his work with Sean Phillips is incredible, like Sleeper and this Incognito and Criminal. It's amazing. I love Sean Phillips' work. So he does this almost like Millar, where he, I don't know, recreates like what a world would be like if it really had comic book people in it. This is fairly dark, but it is just an amazing, fun read. Actually, I'm going to read this again tonight. And interesting characters, sort of a cool retelling of what it would be like. I mean, look at this. This was one of the covers. And then the art itself is very cool. So, and I think there was a second one. I think I've got it somewhere. But, Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, look for anything of theirs. Probably one of my favorite things that they did was Sleeper. Take a look at that. That was a great miniseries. Really, really good miniseries. I should try to keep these things in order, but I just don't. Let's see, what else can we show really quick? Oh. I am a huge Columbo fan. So we can spread out the geek a little bit. It doesn't have to be just comics. So I got this the other day. Oh, that looks good with the light. And this is a prop replica of Columbo's badge. And I cannot remember the site. It's like Hollywood Badges. If you Google replica badges, you'll find them. This thing is heavy. If you're ever wondering if you ever wanted to buy something from that site, or if you're into this kind of thing, this thing is heavy. It has got a lot of weight. The pin on it in the back is incredible. This thing is just totally solid. I was worried but I heard some good reviews. But this thing weighs as much as a regular badge would. It's just incredible. So that's part of my other geek interest is Columbo. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching the video. If you want to hear more geeky stuff coming out of my mouth, I do a podcast over at heroesvillainsandsidekicks.com, where you can go to YouTube, or not YouTube. Well, actually, there is a YouTube channel, and you could go to iTunes. I'd love it if someone could, if you're listening or you're heading over there. Leave a review over on iTunes. I love this community and the comments we leave, and it'd be fun to start seeing people show up over on the iTunes feed and leaving reviews. How they rate that stuff is, I guess, the more reviews you have, it could help bump it into different areas where people can see the cast. So if you get a second, that'd be cool. If not, listen to the show and maybe leave some comments there. I'd be really curious to hear what you think about it. I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, this is so much fun doing this, and I really appreciate it. Have a good week.